Hey everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about some kitchen remodeling mistakes to avoid. These mistakes will make or break a kitchen. Let's get right into the video. I will be going over each mistake individually and then telling you some ways to avoid making that specific mistake. So let's get right into it. Mistake number one is putting form before function. This is also known as putting the look of your kitchen and your cabinets and your countertop before how it works, okay? You need to prioritize one or the other, and I highly recommend that you prioritize the functionality of your kitchen, okay? So how it works for you. Keep this simple thing in mind: the placement of your sink, the placement of your stove, the placement of your fridge, and the placement of your dishwasher. Those are all really, really important. And I highly recommend that you prioritize the functionality of your kitchen above the form or the look of your kitchen. Mistake number two is not putting enough lights. You need a well-lit kitchen. Now, keep this in mind. This is actually my basement kitchen, so it's slightly different than my main floor kitchen in the way that it's laid out and the ceiling height over here. So the ceiling height, I can touch the ceiling right now. It's probably a little bit less than 7 feet, which is a bit shorter than my main floor kitchen and the majority of main floor kitchens that you will find, at least where I live, okay? In Toronto, Ontario, in Canada. So with that being said, you need a well-lit kitchen. And when you have ceilings that are a bit lower, like these right here, you need lights that will shine, but that aren't going to be blinding to you. So you can't go too bright with the bulbs. However, if you have high ceilings, you need much brighter bulbs and more lights. You can do pot lights, and then you can do pendant lights. You can even do a chandelier over a table. I recommend that you do pot lights throughout. And then I also recommend you do a light over the sink, another pot light over the sink. And I recommend that you have pendant lights over either an island or over a peninsula type of countertop. If you have an extension of a countertop of some sort, I recommend that you have pendant lights there too. And have them all on different switches, okay? It's not unusual to have 2, 3, or even 4 light switches in a single kitchen, okay? So just make sure you have enough lights. Mistake number 3 is not enough storage. Your cabinets are your storage. I always recommend that you go as tall as you can with your cabinets. So even if your cabinets go so tall that you have to get on a stool to get to the top of them, it's worth it because you can put the stuff up there that you barely use. And then whenever you need it, you just get a stool out and you go get whatever you need. So go as tall as you can with the cabinets and put as many cabinets as you can. And make sure you have enough drawers. Drawers are unbelievably useful. People underestimate how useful they are. Think about it. A drawer gives you storage that pulls out for you. So it's extremely, extremely useful. I recommend that you figure out how to maximize your cabinet space. Another thing to keep in mind is corners. You want to maximize your corner and you want to be able to get into this stuff without having to bend over and dig into there. So there are these things called magic corners, which are different types of designs that allow the corner unit to actually pull out. Just makes it a bit easier to actually get the stuff inside of that corner section. Mistake number 4 is not enough counter space. Now people think they have a lot of counter space until they put stuff on the counter. Now I recommend that you have one section of your counter that has all of the stuff that's going to sit on the counter, whether that's a microwave, a coffee machine, a toaster oven, anything at all, whatever you have, a soda making machine, whatever you have, you want one section of the counter dedicated to those things. And try and make that a hidden section. You don't want it to be in plain sight. You want it to be somewhere where it's not going to be seen as easily, at least. You don't want that to be the focal point of your kitchen. You want it to make sense where it's kind of hidden away a little bit. So it's still on the counter, just not right in front of the person's eyes when they look at the kitchen for the first time. So figure out how much space you need for all of your appliances. Then you're going to need some extra counter space to put things on all the time. We always leave stuff on the counter. And then you're going to need some extra counter space to prep stuff. So like myself, I'm a father, so I have kids and I have to, prep their meals all the time. So I have young children, I have to prep their meals and cut their food and stuff. So I need lots of space on the counter just to lay out all the food and cut it up and so forth, and all the plates, the bowls, the cups, the utensils and stuff. So you want to figure out roughly how much counter space you need. Make sure you're going to have enough counter space. A lot of people think they have enough. then you start putting stuff on there and you're like, wait a second, I ran out of counter space. Remember that. Also, if you're going to have a dish drying rack on the counter, incorporate that as well, okay? Keep that in mind. Mistake number 5, and this is huge, going significantly over budget. Now let's face it, almost everyone goes over their budget when they're doing a renovation. Even myself, I'm super financially conscious, super money conscious, and I do a lot of the work myself on my renovations, but I still go over budget. It just happens. It's the way that it works. So try, if you're gonna go over budget, try and only go over by a bit. I promise you that a lot of the stuff that you're gonna put in, you don't have to put in right now. Let's say you're gonna put in pendant lights, right? You don't need to put in pendant lights at this moment and spend that money. You can leave it without the lights, you know, safely, make sure that the electrical is done properly and safely, and leave it without the lights temporarily, and then put them in at a later date, right? Or other things that can wait. Maybe you can use your old faucet just for now, and then you can buy a more expensive faucet in the future. Really easy and really inexpensive to replace. You could probably even replace it yourself, to be honest with you. So try and stick to your budget, and if you have to cut some things out and do them later, don't be afraid to do that. It's all about you. Don't worry about what people are going to think. Worry about yourself, okay? Number 6, having too much of a close color between the cabinets, the backsplash, the countertop, and the tiles. You want to have one shade or one tone. You don't want to have red cabinets, green backsplash, orange countertop, and then gray tiles. Doesn't make sense. You want to have one tone and keep everything somewhat neutral at least, but don't do like gray, 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 or white, 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 white. You know, you can do white with cream, that would make sense, or a light gray with a dark gray, or a charcoal in there somewhere, that would make sense, but try to avoid getting all one color. Or if you're gonna stick very close to one color, then make sure your countertop has maybe some veins in it that sort of set it apart from everything else. That'll really help you out there. Or make sure that your backsplash has some texture to it or some shape to it that will set it apart as well, okay? Last but not least, this is huge. Mistake number 7, not enough electrical outlets. I believe I did all the mistakes. I just want to check my notes over here. Yeah, we're good. So mistake number 7, not enough electrical outlets. I always say, figure out where you're going to place things, make sure you have enough electrical outlets for those things, and then add 1 or 2 extra outlets, okay? You know, figure out where your appliances are going to be, your toaster oven, your microwave, your coffee machine. Make sure you have your outlets there. Make sure you have enough outlets there, okay? And then always add more, because you know what? You gotta charge your phone, you know, we plug it in on the, and you leave your phone charging on the countertop. Maybe you're using a mixer, so you gotta plug that in. Maybe you're plugging in your waffle maker, you're using your waffle maker. There are lots of things that you can add on that you need a plug for temporarily. So make sure, maybe you're charging your laptop, you're using your laptop, your tablet, whatever. We live in this century right now, so you need electrical outlets. So put more than enough, just in this small kitchen. And I didn't do this renovation. It came like this when we bought the house, okay? But just in this relatively small kitchen, there's a double outlet over here. It's like one outlet with two openings within it. There's another outlet over here, and then there's another outlet over here. Okay, plus on top of the stove, there's an extra outlet that I can plug in on top of the stove as like an auxiliary outlet that I can plug into that uses the stove's power. So there's 3 just in this really tiny little area for the most part. I don't want to call it tiny, but relatively small area. So make sure you have enough electrical outlets. Now that's it. Those are remodeling mistakes that you really should avoid. If you made them, some of them can be corrected after the renovation is done, but a lot of them can't, or a lot of them are very expensive to correct. To add in an outlet when the backsplash and everything's already done, it's not going to be cheap, and it might cause some damage that you have to fix. So with that being said, try and think of these things before, budget accordingly, and plan accordingly. That's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.